I have been meaning to do an introduction video of both myself and my horses for a while, and I've just been putting it off. And yeah, I don't know why it's so difficult. So, I guess to start, my name is Bree. It's actually short for Aubrey, which is why it's spelled with a Y. Don't ask me why. That's just what my parents chose. And when my friends started calling me Bree in high school, I was like, how do I write this out? Like, my friends just gave me a nickname, and it doesn't really look that great to not put the Y, but then it also doesn't look like Brie. But that's the way it is. That's my name. So I'm Bree, and I am the owner of Sustainably Balanced Equine LLC, where I work with horses on providing sustainable balance to both their hooves and to their body, as well as using energy work. Um, that's something that's a little bit newer, but I find it extremely beneficial for both my horses and for my clients. So it's been really fun to kind of explore that side of things and to embrace my intuition and really lean into all of the things that I've learned and know help horses. I just have always loved horses. Like, I didn't grow up with horses. My family members didn't have horses. I just got bit by the bug at a very young age, which I'm sure most of you can relate if you're on my channel, if you're watching my stuff. Um, and I've just always had a desire and a need to be around them. So, as soon as I was able to afford it and had my own big girl job, I got my own horses. And it's been really interesting to kind of follow that passion throughout my life because I have kind of made it into my entire life. Like, my career is centered around horses and helping horses thrive, and it's been very, very fun and very expansive for me to kind of explore and follow whatever is lighting me up at the moment. So, I got my start in hoof care when I brought home my first Mustang, Birdie. She's the one I currently have now. And I quickly realized that she didn't trust a lot of people, including myself, for a really long time. And even though my farrier was like the kindest guy I've ever met, she was still afraid of him. So he recommended that I learn how to do maintenance on her feet myself. So I was like, okay, I guess like that sounds fine, you know? So I went ahead and did it. And at the time, like, I had been in my equine science degree. Also, there she is right there. That's Birdie. um, had started an equine science degree, was learning about anatomy, was learning about handling horses and all of the things. And I just realized that horses were what I wanted to do. And once I started learning more about hoof care, I realized that there was a lot of people in my area that didn't know what they were doing. So over time, my mentor started having me shadow him so I could learn more. I started doing more research and just learning about all sorts of different trim modalities and styles and all the theories and everything. And he started giving me clients, and it's kind of just been hit and run ever since. Like, we hit the ground running basically. And I have dealt with a lot of physical health issues along the way and injuries, and like, I had a car accident on the way home from trimming one day, and I realized that I couldn't trim for the rest of my life. Like, it's a very short career for most people. You're not going to be able to do it into your 60s and 70s if you're not taking care of your body. And sometimes you just get burnt out because working with horse people can be really difficult. And I also realized that there were a lot of things in the horse's feet that I couldn't change. Like, no matter how many times I had corrected a flare or worked with imbalance issues, like from medial lateral or whatever, I was like, there's got to be more to this. Like, there's no way that like the body isn't impacting the hooves. So after that accident, I was introduced to craniosacral therapy because I had whiplash really bad. And I realized that the craniosacral therapy was something that I would be really, really interested in doing for the horses because it made such a huge impact on my body. And I just felt so much better, and like it was very like light touch modality. Birdie keeps distracting me. I don't know if she's gonna roll or what. She really looks like she wants to though. I don't know why she's standing like that either. So I decided to learn craniosacral therapy for the horses, and I had already studied a lot about anatomy and about the fascia and about just everything about the horses, I suppose, in general. And that's what felt the most aligned to me at the time. And I just realized, okay, she's good. I keep looking at the dog. She keeps running back and forth. We got the dog and then we got the horse over there. So, the craniosacral therapy was actually kind of like my gateway into the intuitive work and the energy work because it is a very intuitive modality. Like, you have to be in a very grounded and present frame of mind to be able to make the changes that you need to make when you're working on a horse. And I realized it was kind of like blending with my own spiritual and like metaphysical journey in a way. Which is like the craziest thing to me because I was raised super religious. And I would have freaked out when I was still like very devout and religious. Like I would have freaked out if you had told me that this is where I would be at. But I just realized like once I started opening up and being more present and tuning into the horses that they had a lot more to tell me than just about their bodies. So I did quite a few courses on animal communication, energy work, Reiki 1 and 2 certification, and just read lots of books, listened to lots of podcasts, and realized like everybody has the ability to tap into their intuition. It's not like there's anything special about me. Like I think I'm just slightly autistic and very obsessed with horses, and I love to learn more about them. I want to help them feel better. And when they had started presenting things to me that were outside of the craniosacral scope, I was like, okay, how can I like take this deeper and help horses with it? So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I could probably talk about that for hours. I recently feel like I've not forgotten everything that I've learned about horses, but I've kind of come full circle. Um, I I like to stay in a beginner's mind, like beginner's mindset, which means I'm always learning new stuff. And the things that I talked about a few years ago may not be true today, especially on social media, because my social media went viral in 2022, 2023, I think, on Instagram. And back then, like at that point in my journey, I was still very much focused on hoof care and like building my business that way. So I've grown a lot and changed a lot, but it's been really rewarding, I think, to be able to change my mind. Yeah. Hopefully the shade isn't too bad. I'm under this beautiful tree. It actually has flowers on it. I don't know if you can see them. They're like pink. They're all falling off. They were really pretty last week. But everything's starting to bloom because it's springtime. So exciting. I love it. So yeah. Uh One thing that I haven't really shared about recently that I probably do need to share, like it's almost like an announcement I need to make, but I am going back to school because I'd like to go to vet school. And I know it's going to be a lot of work and it's going to be a lot of time and student loans probably and debt, but I feel like there's a huge need for like someone like me in the industry to like put it bluntly, not to sound like I have an ego or anything, but like my perspective from everything that I've studied with the hoof care, postural work, biomechanics, just the anatomy in general, craniosacral. I view horses a very different way than a lot of people do. And I've been inspired by several people, including Dr. Audrey DeClue, who has a wonderful podcast um, called The Horse First. And she treats horses that have issues that seem like they're untreatable, or like vets aren't able to decipher or figure out what they are, because she has a different viewpoint from her previous career. So I'm honestly super excited about that. I'm not like super excited about going back to school, but I do love to learn. My entire career I've basically learned things and turned around and added them into my practice and been able to help even more horses, which is the goal with vet school. Um, so I'm excited to see like where sustainably balanced equine will go. I don't know if that is what will be my vet practice's name. It's still very new. I still need to get all of the credits in order to apply for vet school. So I'm looking at a long journey, but I'm also not going to let that stop me from continuing to help horses. So right now what I'm doing is still trimming horses, obviously. I teach students in hoof care. I have a course and also do mentorships for those students of the course, because there are so many horses out there that I can't help and can't trim by myself. Not to mention, like, I don't want to burn myself out. I don't want to work that hard. Like, I don't want to go back to trimming 100 horses every 4 weeks. Like, it was exhausting. I didn't have a life outside of work. So, and it's funny because I'm saying that and I can foresee that I'm going to be a lot busier as a vet than I am as a farrier. But at least I'm not like bent over slaving and sweating under horse anymore. Like, I can do a lot more if I'm not like doing the equivalent of Brazilian jiu-jitsu on several horses a day. I've actually looked it up, and that's what like the same amount of like physical effort and calories burned for hoof care is Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So yeah, it's exciting. I've also been really enjoying doing craniosacral therapy recently. I've kind of like added my own blend of myofascial release and other like techniques that I've learned from different practitioners and modalities that I've researched that I find to be beneficial for the horses. It's all very intuitive, so I suppose I should probably call it intuitive bodywork instead um, of just craniosacral therapy. But like, craniosacral is all about the intuition, so I don't know. We'll see. Like, there's a lot of things up in the air right now in my life and in my world, which I'm so grateful for the fact that I've been able to help hundreds of horses and their people in so many different ways, and that all I know is that's what I'm going to keep doing. So, all right. Well, enough about me. Let's talk about my horses. Okay, well, I guess I'll start with Frances because she's standing right there. Frances is my little red brown blanket mare. I don't know how tall she is. She's probably like 14.1, maybe 14.2. I do call her a pony, but I call every horse a pony. It doesn't matter if they're 17 hands or if they're 11 hands. They're all ponies in my world. My private Instagram even has ponies in the handle. Just think is so funny. Um, so Frances, I got her with the intentions of flipping her. Actually, I wanted to do a hoof rehab on her and sell her. And this was back in June 2021, I believe. I think it was 2021. I might have to look. Um, so she's been with me for a while. She's been through several moves with me. But I just felt really bad for her. So she had been up for sale for a few months at least before I went out and looked at her. And all they said in the listing was that she was super sweet, very green, didn't know much, and that she was a rescue. Oh, and that she had duck feet. So she has really, really terrible front end conformation. And at that time, I was still a baby trimmer with all of the confidence in the world. And I thought, I can fix her. I can straighten up her feet and we can resell her because she's so cute and she's so sweet. And that didn't end up happening. So, first of all, her hoof issues are actually from her conformation. She has rotational deformities from her elbows down. So, there's no way I was going to be able to trim that out of her body. Not to mention the fact that she also has a rhinos. It's not congenital, it's from an injury. I didn't get the pictures from it, but she basically filleted her face open from her right, like the corner of her right eye, all the way down underneath her jaw, and it severed the nerves. So, what happened was all of the muscles pulled her little lip and nose over to her left side, which it's gotten a lot better. The craniosacral therapy has helped a lot, and also myofascial release, but it's still a little twisted. So she's not perfect, but she really is the sweetest little thing. Like, she has the best personality. I absolutely adore her. She doesn't know very much under saddle. I've ridden her maybe like 6 times, and it's just like a hop on, we walk around in a circle and jump off kind of thing. Because I feel really bad. I don't want to ask her to do too much because of her front end conformation. Granted, she has done a lot better with like the in hand work and postural work that we've done with her on like being able to carry herself and like being more developed in her top line and able to lift through her spine and her rib cage and engage her core muscles and push from behind. But I don't know, I feel really bad. I don't want to put any more pressure on her joints than she already has with her conformation. I wish I knew more about her. Um Particularly because before I got her, they had told me that she had been exposed to a stud who he was like a Bay Tobiano, just like backyard incident or whatever. So it's like, did she come from these people and that was how she was like conceived and brought into this world? Or like what's her story? I don't really know. I haven't been able to get much information from her like via the animal communication. I don't think she cares that much. She seems very happy. As long as her belly is full. She's also a little bit more solitary. Like, she keeps herself apart from the other two. She wants to be in their space, but she's not like super close to the other two horses. Though she will freak out if I take those two and leave her. Sorry, that was gross. She will freak out if I take the other two. Like, there's definitely some buddy sourness going on with all three of my horses right now. But she's not like super buddy buddy with them. I think she's taught me a lot about like what a horse wants versus what their body needs. I don't know how to explain that. I guess I can elaborate a little bit more. Um so she's always wanted to do more stuff with me. I can tell like she gets super jealous, especially when I take Birdie out and do positive reinforcement with her. And I think she's been wanting me to do that type of work with her for a really long time, but I was always super hesitant because of her joints. But she's like, "No, like let me tell you what my capacity is. Like, I want to do more with you. I like spending time with you. I like doing the positive reinforcement. Like, I find it super rewarding." So, I'm hoping this year, like now that we're kind of more settled into this new property and um hopefully I can start taking them out more places, like separately, even if I just take them in the front yard to do more stuff with them. Um, I think all of the horses would benefit, but especially Franny, because she just loves playing with me. I think it's so adorable. Yeah. So that's Francis. And then Birdie, the Bay Mustang mare. I've had her the longest. I got her at the end of 2019. Um, and she's been kind of a tough cookie, honestly, at least until like the past couple of years. So I very early on realized that she had issues with trusting people, like I mentioned earlier, because she was tip trained out and started under saddle by a really amazing trainer and then adopted out shortly after her tip competition, which, if you don't know, that's the trainer incentive program. I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist anymore. Like, something to do with the Bureau of Land Management and the foundation that was running the tip challenge. Like, they've had a falling out. But she was taken out of holding as a sale authority Mustang because she'd had 3 strikes. And I don't think that's any fault of her own. I think she just went to adoption events and was not looked at because she's kind of a plain bay, which I think she's further, like, that's further from the truth. But a lot of people don't want a plain Mustang, they want one with color or a better personality. Not that her personality is bad, she's just very particular. It takes a particular person to really enjoy her. Um, but after I brought her home, like, I was doing all of the things with her that I thought would help, but also still riding her and doing things and kind of pushing her past her own limits and boundaries, which ended up with me in the dirt several times. So I kind of like started this journey of like, okay, how can I connect with her? How can I be softer? Like, what does she need from me? Like, who do I need to be to support her becoming the best horse that she can be? Which took me on so many rabbit holes that we could spend hours and hours talking about them. But eventually it kind of came to a head when we moved up to Idaho. So we were in Boise for a year. And when we moved up there, she reverted back to 100% feral. No one can touch me. Someone comes with a halter, I'm blindly running into the other horses and disregarding their safety and my safety because I do not want to be around people, like, kind of thing. And I got to a breaking point where I was like, okay, do I need to just send you to a sanctuary or like what? But I quickly realized that that would be a disservice to her because I was like, she's still going to need care from humans even if she's in a sanctuary. So I wanted to at least like get her comfortable enough to be handled no matter who she ended up with. Like, I was like willing to keep her, but also wanted what was best for her. So at the same time, I was like, okay, what do I do? Versus like, I don't want to be a disservice to her because if I didn't expand her comfort zone, she was going to hurt herself or other horses eventually. So I started from 100% square one, like wild Mustang, like, I'm not going to touch you until you're cool with it, like that kind of thing. Hey, Fran. um, and it was so cool because once I did that and started to like show her that I was like picking up on her discomfort and like that I recognize like, okay, you don't want to do what I'm asking you to do, or you don't feel comfortable doing what I ask you to do. So I'm going to pick up on that and only push you a little bit past your comfort zone so then we can help you grow out of that. And like, things started to click really fast for her, and now she is like, I feel like a normal horse. She's not like a wild Mustang anymore. Um, so that's been really fun. We've been riding. I rode her a few times last year and a few times this year. And I think she really enjoys it. Like, the last time I rode her, she raced me to the mounting block, which was the honestly the funnest and cutest thing that I've ever had happen to me with her. She has a really hard time um with like new things, or if something triggers her. Well, I guess historically she's had a hard time with that. She's gotten a lot better about coming back down, but sometimes like she'll get re-triggered and be like up in arms for a little bit and then she'll come back down. Which I feel like kind of mirrors my own life and behavior and anxiety tendencies. uh, she's taught me so much about myself and about horses and about hoof care and literally everything that you could think of with horses. So I'm like so grateful for her. If I ever have or had a heart horse, I'm pretty sure it's her, which I don't feel like you know that until you lose them. And I'm not really ready to come to terms with that. I'm like, no, you have to stay here forever. But she's starting to get more white hairs on her face, which makes me very emo. Her brand says that her age is around 2011. So whatever that makes her this year, I'm trying to remember. That make her 15. Possibly. I don't know, give or take. It's hard to age a Mustang sometimes, especially because her herd was gathered in 2011 for the last time. So I'm not sure if she was a long yearling, like brought in from the range, or she was born in holding, or what her deal was, but she did spend quite a long time in holding. I think she was 6 when she got out, so her only experiences with humans were very hands off. So I think that really impacted her, like, trust ability, her determining if humans were trustworthy or not. I don't know how to say that. But overall, like, she's my girl. Um, she's out grazing. I did have a little dry lot pen set up, but I had to take it down because they broke one of my posts. I think I forgot to leave the fence on or something that night. But yeah, so that's Birdie, and then last but not least is Oliver, who is standing back there, and you've all heard a lot about him, at least about his feet and his physical problems. But Oliver came to us in October 2024, so he's been with me the least out of all 3 of my horses. So I guess it's been about a year and a half today, because it's April 1st as of recording this, and we brought him home. No, we met him October 1st, and then we brought him home shortly after, maybe like the week after. But Ollie is a registered American paint horse, which I thought was really funny when I found out. Like, I have a picture of his papers. I don't have them in my name. That's something I do need to figure out. I need to make some calls and figure out how to get it transferred. But he was born in April 2008, so he is going to be 18 this year. I'm so bad with numbers. I am so sorry. If I've screwed up any of these numbers, just know that I have the numbers version of dyslexia. So I can't remember how to say the word. But yeah, like my brain takes numbers and is like, you don't need those. But anyway, so he is a paint that is into paint. He spent most of his life ranching, doing a lot of like what I assume is branding and cattle work, like out on the ranch. I don't know if they ever like showed him or took him to ropings or anything. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I do know a lot about his history. So he was born in Parma, Idaho, and unfortunately the ranch like doesn't exist on social media, so I haven't been able to contact them for like any baby pictures or anything. Like, I have a baby photo that's on his papers, but that's it. Like, nothing else. And I assume he was started super early to go work on the ranch. He spent quite a few years in Mountain Home, being, I think they actually were a logging operation. Like, they had cattle, but also like logging. I'm not like 100% clear on that part. And somehow he ended up in Arizona at a sale. He ended up with this trainer down there who was the one that we got all the information from, the person who gave him to me. which I was super grateful. She like spilled his entire life story to me, and I was like, wow, that's way more than my girls ever came with. And if you know horses, you know that's kind of a big deal to know a lot about your horses. So he ended up in Arizona, was bought by someone who wanted a hobby horse who had like billions of dollars, I believe. He could have been a billionaire, he could have been a millionaire. I don't know. I mean, being a millionaire in this day and age isn't that impressive anymore with our economy, but you know. um, and they unfortunately had an incident on the trail where I think he got back on and didn't tighten the girth up all the way, and they both had a scare. So then Oliver got to sit for 3 years in a pasture just out in Idaho somewhere. And eventually the trainer, like head trainer there, reached out to the trainer I got him from and was like, "Hey, can you like find a good placement for this horse? Like he's amazing, but we don't know what to do with him." And the owner is just like asking us to find him a good home. So she reached out to me and I was like, I can't really do 3 horses. And then I went out and met him, and his personality is just so amazing. I was like, we got to take him. He is such a sweet boy. He definitely needed groceries. He needed the hoof rehab. He needed body rehab. Like we're still very much in the trenches in a lot of ways with Oliver, but he is phenomenal. He is such a sweet boy. I can tell that he wants to go back to work, especially now that we've gotten his feet feeling a little bit better. So I'm hoping to start riding him more as well this summer. So I'm trying to think of if there's anything else I should share about them. Oh, I'm pretty sure Ollie was a bridle horse. I think they told me that he had bridle horse training. So I think that'll be really cool. I don't even own any bits. Like I'm pretty sure I own like one bit. And it's way too big for Birdie and Francis, and it's a little bit small for Oliver. But I thought it might be fun to try. I'm not like that great of a horsemanship person, horsewoman, but putting him in a spade bit and just like doing straight up in the bridle, because he is very sensitive like to rein cues. Like I don't have to like bulldoze him with the reins like I do with my little green mares. Not that I'm like pulling on their faces, but they need much more direct communication than he does. So I think that might be fun, and maybe like learning to rope on him. I don't have a roping saddle or any roping experience. But I think it'd be cool. Or doing something like working equitation. I used to do mounted search and rescue with Birdie because she really likes trails and just being out in a herd, walking around with other horses. I had kind of gotten into equine trail sports too. I never did a competition, but I had friends who did, and I would go support them. And kind of had dreams when I was back home in Arizona about doing that with her. But I feel like here is more hunting and roping and barrel racing, at least in my area now. So I don't know. Like right now, my horse's main jobs are to just be happy and to just exist out here and look good. They're kind of like glorified lawn ornaments at this point after the winter. Now that the ground is dried up. Well, it was dry and then it rained again, and it's supposed to rain all night tonight and or the day after tomorrow too. So yeah, we're probably not going to be dry for much longer. I need to make friends with someone who has an arena apparently, because I don't know if you all remember, but my little arena got demolished this winter. So if I'm going to put that back up, I need to electrify it, which I'm considering doing. But I also, like, it was a lot of work. So I don't know. I'm about to get really busy with school again, too. There's been quite a few things that I'm like, okay, I would really like to do this project, but I'm going to have to start focusing on what needs to be done, like prioritize before school starts. And also working with my clients and stuff, which Unfortunately, YouTube has been one of those things that I've kind of put on the back burner. It's not that I don't want to do it, it's just sometimes by the time I have free time, it's either really cold out and I don't feel like filming inside when I'm talking about my horses. And also, there's other things that I'd like to be doing, like my hobbies. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Hopefully, it's not like too oversharey for all of you guys. I have been known to share way too much detail and miss out on like important things. So I guess if you have any questions or like want to know more about me and my ponies, just like let me know in the comments and I can make another video. Maybe a Q&A would be really good. So yeah, if you're interested, just put your questions in the comments below, I suppose. And if you made it this far, you are a real one. Thank you for sticking it out with me and listening to me ramble about my horses. And I will catch you all next time. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.